Hi everyone. So I'm Liz. I'm a project manager and lead for digital innovation at probably the longest title. It's the South Yorkshire Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub. I have noticed a few kind of people popping up from Wakefield and North Yorkshire, so neighbours practically. Hi, and then a few from far afield. So nice to speak to you all. Um, this is my background, basically non-tech. I am a non-tech expert, and I wanted to kind of make a reference to that, the fact that I am kind of patient facing, or have been a patient facing service manager. I manage people, I manage projects, and I manage things. Then we had a slight focus on a small pandemic, and then decided I wanted a bit of change of career, really. So this opportunity popped up, and then that led to Georgia. Next slide, please. Thank you. And I don't think if you don't blow your own trumpet, then nobody else will. So I kind of won the HSJ Digital Innovator of the Year award last year, and I'm still within the 12 months, so I'm happy to keep barking on about that. Thank you, and thanks for all the glitter. I love that. Next slide, please. So a bit more seriousness now. So when I joined the hub, this was the aim of the project, really. There were three different aims. One was to have a look at what a technology-focused training and simulation centre might look like, because believe it or not, we still don't have a building that we really kind of train from. We went into GP practices, we hired hotel rooms and conference suites, and it wasn't great. So gathered together loads of stakeholders. We knew what we wanted to do, what it wanted to look like, and that business case is still sat on a shelf waiting for some cash. So in the meantime, the second arm of that was about testing different technology enhanced learning tools. And those learning tools had to do a certain thing. They had to expand access to good quality training. They had to expand capacity to that training as well, and actually bring a different quality to what we were already delivering. So a lot of face-to-face, as well as online, obviously through COVID, and a bit of simulation, but not massively, not how we kind of understand simulation now. But so we wanted to bring some of that simulation in and a bit of the role play experience. And then once we'd found those tools, to actually adopt them, to learn how to use them, to roll them out, and to find the best way of actually doing that. So as you can see here on this slide, there's quite a few different sort of cohorts that we tested that with, even down to T-level students, GP school volunteers, reception and admin, and kind of A-level students as well. We wanted to see what they thought about this version of training. So this since then has actually led on to kind of us being able to identify gaps in training, to be able to find the best fit tool. So if, like, we're looking at soft skills training here, Body Swaps did quite a lot for us, so we adopted that one pretty quickly, and we could kind of use that to bridge gaps in our training that we knew we recognised. It enables us to kind of speak to our programme leads and our educators, and actually something that would kind of support their training they already delivered. And it's also led on to things like this. I like to, as Mary Lee said, we share what we've learned, we share our knowledge, we share even case studies and what went wrong and what went well. I think basically so other people don't make the same mistakes. Thanks, Georgia. So operationally then, we do this in various different ways. We have some of the larger groups. So we have some GP trainees that have got their medical degree and are obviously starting to work in either general practice or secondary care, a lot of which are international medical graduates as well. And we get a lot of those that tend not to have any experience of consultation skills or communication skills. So when we speak to them, we do a lot of work, again, with the soft skills. So we'll use active listening, clear communication, and they all kind of concentrate on their hand movements, their eye contact, and whether they're actually making contact and making a connection with that patient. These are quite large groups, so we could get 40, 45 at a time. I only have 30 headsets, and having them all on the go at one time is not only nerve-wracking, it's not really a great thing to do. It takes time to manage them, to sort of sort out issues and solution find and stuff like that. So what we tend to do with them is chop them in half. Half will do the headsets and body swaps. The other half will go through facilitated sessions in small groups of 4 or 5, generally around a laptop on a couple of other pieces of software that we use to kind of practice communications, consultation styles and things like that. We kind of look at other program cohorts like aspiring practice managers and reception and admin, which are again much more small and sort of compact in their group numbers, and they're also non-clinical as well, so we don't want to miss those out. When they're on a smaller group as well, they tend to be able to give you a better debrief. We have some really good conversations, and they tend to link them up to, well, this happened to me back in practice, and oh my gosh, yes, I can reflect on that because that was a real conversation that I had. So that's really quite interesting. And again, even smaller specialist groups. So we have sometimes some aspiring leaders that come to that program that want to know a little bit more about how we use technology enhanced learning in training. So some of those will come. I'll front load a class with lots and lots of different topics and different bits of scenario that they can actually have a look at and test themselves. And then the one that's really given us some food for thought is actually going out to GP practices. A lot of practice managers come and go, can you do something with our reception staff? Can you do something about dealing with angry patients and kind of de-escalation and stuff like that? Which then has led us on to creating our own. So next slide, please. Okay. So looking again at our navigating angry conversations. So this is our sergeant major that you can see there at the top left. I love this guy, and I'm sure as a practice manager back in quite an affluent area of Doncaster, I knew this guy. He was a patient of mine, and I met him. But he was part of this scenario that we did with the reception and admin, and he kind of really wasn't angry enough, apparently. So looking at the AR role plays, it gave us an opportunity to kind of create bespoke sessions. We would have a clinician that would lead what needed to be said and look at the sort of clinical aspects of that, what they might say, or we'd hire in a subject matter expert on whatever it was that we wanted to sort of lead on and talk about. And then within that as well, we'd got not only the AI assessment criteria that sat within body swaps, but you'd also got the kind of the subject matter experts assessment criteria that we could pop in there as well. So our examples here, as I say, we took our sergeant major and we made a challenging patient called Faye. Now, Faye, as you can see here, she's got her own backstory, you know, like in general practice, a lot of the time, if there aren't any appointments available, you're told to go elsewhere. She was told to go to A&E and obviously wasn't happy about that. So that whole conversation is around kind of appeasing the patient and making sure she's fully sort of understanding why that decision has been made and to sort of, you know, make sure she's actually okay. But all that backstory we're able to put in, and you know, 1 or 2 sort of bits that come out is that she often thinks that she's been fobbed off because of her appearance or because of her background and things like that, which does happen. We then went on to creating a bit more of a challenging workplace conversation, which we actually tested out this morning. So I created this where our trainee nurse associates were dealing with another nurse on the same team, and they were arguing about how to deliver a baby clinic. And it was fascinating actually to watch our nurse associates go from quite bolshy of, I'm going to tell this person, I'm going to be right, I'm going to do this, to actually backing down and going, oh, okay, well, I see your point. Oh, well, let's try that. Let's revisit that in a little while and let's evaluate it and let's see how that goes. It was really interesting to listen to them. And then again, we use it in kind of job interview, specific job interview training, which is really fascinating. Again, it's really handy for our Restore program. So these are kind of, again, refugee nurses that have come to the UK. We help them within that program. So get a job as a healthcare assistant. We help them with their kind of DBS check forms and again, getting a job. So having a specific role play where they can answer questions that they will be asked, particularly pertinently to their own job role that they're going to, it's so useful. It's brilliant, really handy. So we've used that quite a few times. And then again, we do a lot of the active listening in healthcare, obviously. We know that patients come in with one thing, but actually there's 3 or 4 or 5 things often going on at the same time. So, and again, it's really interesting watching kind of qualified nurses not being able to do their to-do list. They have to actively listen and work out what's happening with the patient. So usually on the second go or on a third go, they get much better and much stronger at the actual active listening bit. Next slide, please, Georgia. Oh, there we go. So this is pathways. So again, moving on, this is, as you know, as we were talking about earlier, this is truly, truly bespoke, because we can take the best bits of the stuff that we found on there that really work. We can link them in with our own AI role plays. I describe it as the supermarket shelf approach, because I'm literally going in, I'm grabbing bits that I know work and I'm popping them together. And then interdispersed between there, we can do a bit of knowledge check-in, as Marilee said. We will say, okay, right, here's a quiz. Let's answer some questions on that. We will even cheekily, right at the end, put in a little evaluation that generally asks them, so how do you feel actually the use of TEL tools embedded the education that you've had today? Or how do you feel this bit of simulation will help you go forward in your actual role? And we've used this in a couple of different ways. So we've done some chaperone training where we get a fully qualified experienced nurse to talk about the actual task of chaperone training. What does that entail? And then in between that, we pop them in the headsets and we give them what we think is a challenging conversation. Because what if something did happen and the patient was uncomfortable and you had to have that conversation either with the patient or with the person who did that examination? Say, well, actually, was that quite right? How did that go? And for someone who's either a receptionist, an admin, or a healthcare assistant, to then question somebody of a GP or an experienced nurse is quite difficult. So we'd put those in together, but it made it more bespoke. It made it sort of really sing from and kind of marry up with the training they'd had. And I guess the final one that I wanted to kind of point out was the confident communication one. And we've used this across a broad spectrum of people, actually. But just to say really ultimately that this is really customizable. You're able to kind of press a button that says we can skip through these if we want them to be skippable, we can do. So that means that the session is more fluid. We can go by the reactions of the trainees in the room and go, oh, actually, let's not do this one, let's add this one instead. It is truly bespoke content. It's relatable to their role, it's relatable to their setting and actually their experiences in the role. It's actually really useful because they get to concentrate or practice on conversations that they do have, they will continue to have. They can just get better at it. And I know we've referred to this before, but it is a psychologically safe space where we go, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake because you're not going to upset the avatar. And even if you do, what are they going to do? It's not a patient sat in front of you. It's not your boss. It's not somebody who can, take you to a tribunal or be really, really bad. This is a safe space. Get it wrong 2 or 3 times and then practice getting it right. It is excellent simulation. I really love this. And I often lead with this, especially if I'm speaking to NHS colleagues, that it is a low cost per use for us in particular, and it's getting lower. The more we use it, the more comfortable we are with it, the happier we are with it. We will use it more and more and more. So our cost per use is coming down. And I think that's it. I think that's my last slide. I've got Georgia. Is it the next one? There we go. So yeah. So again, fancy QR code because we like those now. I'm quite happy to be contacted on LinkedIn or on email. I'm quite happy to speak to anyone. As you can tell, we're both chatters, I think, merrily. But yeah, I just think to share is just to help people out. So thank you very much for listening to me. Go on.